During a high school class project, my teacher told me it's unrealistic being a CEO. It's been my dream to be a CEO since I was 10. So I told her, it is realistic. Follow me on my journey to learn what it takes to become a CEO.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Realistic CEO Podcast. Today I'm here with the Mayor of Chicopee, John Vieau. How you doing today, John?
I'm doing great, Michael. I'm happy to join you here today.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come on to the Realistic CEO Podcast, so thank you for that. And the first question that I do want to ask you is, can you tell us a little about what you do as the mayor?
So as mayor, I actually get to be the CEO of the city of Chicopee. So I actually bring forth all the financial orders, so oversee every department involved in pretty much every facet of city government. And it's pretty exciting. We're always looking to make sure that our employees are receiving fair, equitable pay. Pay parity is very important. Also making sure that all the services that people expect are happening every single day. And those potholes are getting filled, your trash is getting picked up, and making sure that we're getting and offering a first-class education through our school district. I'm also chairman of the school committee, and I work intimately with the city council. So we try to continue to just the progress of Chicopee, move it along. Great things are happening, and you're sitting in one of them right now as we renovate City Hall Phase 2. So good things are in the future, and we're looking to just make Chicopee a great place to live, a great place to work, and a great place to raise a family.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you tell us a little about your journey, how you got to where you are today?
The journey's a great story. I'm a Boys and Girls Club kid from the Willimantic section of Chicopee. Who don't know, that's North Chicopee. Just a less than fortunate kid growing up. My parents both didn't go to college. I'm the first person in my family tree to actually go, which I think is just incredible because I believed in myself. And I think that's really the message. If anyone gets anything off this podcast today, is to believe in yourself. And you can accomplish anything. We live in the land of opportunity. Decided that I was going to go in for civil engineering. Really didn't work out. Got my degree from UMass. Was trying to find actually a place to work. Was putting out my resume everywhere and ended up with this opportunity to be a real estate appraiser and took advantage of that. So I'm also a certified general real estate appraiser. An office opened in my ward, and I found out that the alderman at the time wasn't going to run. So I decided that it would be something that I'd be interested in. Looking at it as an opportunity to get engaged with my community. I had already joined the planning board. So that was my first real step, was walking into the mayor's office. Actually, this office, the former mayor appointed me to the planning board. I served in that capacity for 5 years before I decided that I was going to run for alderman at the time, city council. And did 16 years on the council, 4 years as city council president. And the former mayor came up to me and actually called me and said he wasn't running for reelection. And he told me that he was going to make an announcement in March on the front stairs of City Hall with a press release and asked me to go. And I'll just tell everybody that I said no. I didn't want him to not run. And I was a little taken back that he wasn't, which was a weird thing. And then there was a real scramble. It was March of an election year to try to find someone to run for mayor. And I didn't think it was me. But I do believe in powers above. I do believe in God. And I do believe that something up there told me that it was my turn to do it. And I really felt that faith in God led me through that journey of being courageous enough to put myself forward and run for mayor. And it got me to where I am. So I would think that's my journey. I didn't grow up thinking I'm going to be the mayor. Never thought that once in my whole life. I actually probably thought a little bit less of myself. And that's really the message that I have for many kids. You have to believe in yourself. There's only one you in the whole wide world. And be proud of that. Be proud of your heritage, where you come from, your family, your friends, your school, your city. Be proud of all of those things, because some people will make you feel less than that. And I tell people, don't ever let anyone take that away from you. I think that's really the message that got me to be mayor. And also then putting together a team. When you run for mayor, you have to have a great team. And I was so fortunate to have an amazing campaign committee that believed in me and supported me, because what you have to do is get out there and earn the public trust. The people have to believe in you. They're the ones who are voting for you. And I think that's really what got me to be mayor. It was quite a ride.
Wow. When you were growing up, you didn't even think you were going to be the mayor. You felt less of yourself. So how are you able to shift your mindset to really believing in yourself to a point where you're able to become the mayor?
That's a great question. And I think it's all about mindset. I think if you start to believe in yourself, I was able to compete in college with whether it be with grades or with the other students in my classrooms and know that, hey, God gifted me with a pretty decent brain. And I was able to showcase those skills when I was taking tests, and a real fear of speaking in front of people too, by the way. Being on this podcast, if it was me 10 years ago, I'd be nervous as you. I'd probably be stuttering a lot more than I am right now. But I do believe it's about just as you grow as a person, and that's really what I try to do. I tell these young kids that I talk to all the time that who's the person you look up to? Is it your father, your mother, whatever it may be? Who's your superhero? And I took this from Matthew McConaughey, one of my favorite actors, but it's me in 10 years. I just try to be my best me every single day. And that's my goal. I wake up every day thanking God for being able to put my feet on the ground and then being able to come here and try to make a difference, but also to grow as a person. And that's what it's about every single day. And I think something clicks with you sometime in your life. And I think that happened to me. And hopefully this podcast can click with some people out there that you can follow your dreams and be whatever you want to be. My daughter's 26, told me she was going to be a voice major when she was in high school. And she doesn't know this, but I'll say that I always thought maybe you might have a plan B too, but she was able to follow her dream. And I tell that because it's just an amazing chapter of her life, going through that process of getting into some of the best colleges in the country, getting accepted into Carnegie Mellon University for voice, being able to showcase your talent. And I think that's really another message I hope to share with everyone too, is look, I feel like I don't go to work every day. I have this wonderful career and this wonderful opportunity to be mayor. And I get to do all of these amazing things. I don't wake up on Sunday night and go, oh, I don't want to go to work today. And I think if for anyone who's watching this, if you feel that way, you need to change your mindset, to change your career path and do what actually makes you happy. And you'll feel like you never worked a day. If you can be a teacher and you love to teach and you're passionate about it, you don't feel like you're going to work every day. And I want people to love Monday mornings as much as Friday afternoons for just here at City Hall, the employees who work here. I want them to enjoy coming to work. And I think that's really what it's about. If you can bring up that morale in the group and just show people how much you value them, every single employee here is valued. Whether you're, and I'll just use either the sanitation department where you're riding on the back of the yard waste or the trash truck and you are putting that trash into the receptacles and taking it off to it used to be the landfill, but now to the transfer station, or all the way up to the director of DPW. I treat everybody the same. We all have a part to make this community successful. And I believe in that. I believe in public safety. I believe that if you don't feel safe when you put your head down on your pillow, you're not going to want to live in Chicopee. And it's about that. I think Chicopee is the best place in the world to live. And when you're passionate about it, I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm doing these wonderful things to help people have hopefully the best experience. Like one of my goals, Michael, is that we retain the talent of not just the people who work here, but those who live here. I want those young men and women who graduate, who either have that natural ability or go to college and learn that skill or trait or get that profession or that degree and choose Chicopee to be their permanent home, like I did. I want them to love the 4 seasons of the year. And that's what Western Mass is all about, Chicopee especially. And it's a great place to live. And I want them to hopefully have such a great experience through our school district and growing up here like I did, that you don't leave. We don't want to lose our talent. So I want to retain the talent. I don't know where you live, but maybe you might want to consider moving to Chicopee.
I like how you talked about how you really were able to feel a lot more confident going into college. So what was it about when you got into college where you were able to shift your mindset? You talked about your grades, you were able to compete. But what was it about college that allowed you to shift your mindset?
I think it was actually a little bit more in high school. I realized that I wasn't going to be valedictorian. My best friend ended up being valedictorian, but we were always trying and vying for good grades because I wanted to get into college. Yeah. The goal was to go to college and hopefully get a big scholarship so I wouldn't have to put a big burden on myself because I knew that my parents wouldn't be able to afford to pay for school. And I got into every school I applied to. And that really that helps build up, I'll say, your self-esteem because knowing that these colleges actually wanted me was exciting. And I chose UMass because it was nearby. I didn't want to go too far away. And the package that I got was really good. I was able to live there for 1 year, but I commuted for the rest. And I really do think that experience just showed me that I felt like I knew a lot. I was book smart, but I learned so much about how diverse the world is, how diverse just the community is versus the microcosm that I lived in Willimantic, where I felt like very comfortable, but expanding to UMass, which is like a city in itself. Just in the Southwest neighborhood that I went to my first freshman year of college, that in itself is a city. It was a little overwhelming to go from a small section of Chicopee and Willimantic to this metropolis where I was hearing all these stories about how crazy the rivalries are between New York and Massachusetts and sports and other things. But it was a wonderful experience. It really was.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So for you, what is some advice that you would give to your younger self that you know now, like the knowledge you have now? Like, what is something that you would say to yourself that would really help you in your career path?
I think that I've always thought that back then, no one took me serious. And then at what age or what time in my life, or for anyone's life for that matter, where they go, oh, he's just a kid. And what he's offering is not something that we take very seriously. And I don't know if it takes from turning 29 to 30 or whatever it may be. But at some point, I think I would tell myself, like, look, you need to really believe in yourself and that the sky is the limit. One of my favorite basketball players is a guy who didn't go to college. He played in Minnesota. He couldn't win a championship there until he came to Boston. And he works harder than everybody. I think you might know who it is. I'll share in a minute. But he oftentimes I think his signature move was pounding on his chest and pointing to God and yelling, anything's possible. And I believe that's the message that I share with so many of the people. I hope they get that message because it really is. You live in this wonderful country called America and opportunities are endless. Do not trap yourself in your life. And I do believe that anything's possible. Do you know who that basketball player is?
Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett, yeah. One of my favorites. And you just watch interviews with that guy. And when he was inducted into, when they hung his banner at TD Garden, when his peers talked about him and his work ethic, and that's what it's about. You have to work hard. Life is hard. And Tom Brady says, he's one of my favorite players too, is life is hard. You have to put the work in. But if you put in the work, hopefully you'll receive the benefits of that hard work. And that's the goal and message to people. It's not easy. Life is a roller coaster. And it's the most precious gift that God gives you. I don't want to get too religious. Whatever entity you believe in above, this wonderful thing called life we get. And every single day is a gift. And I ride this amazing roller coaster of life. And that's really the message, is enjoy your ride because it is finite. We're here for a period of time. Make the best of it. I had an epiphany about myself. And I'll share this one because it's really important. The average person lives to be 80. You know what that means? 80 summers. That means work-life balance. You have to enjoy your life too. You can't just work. And so those who work really hard, like I had mentioned, to be successful sometimes forget that. And I think that 80 summers is not a lot. And be telling this story to 85-year-olds. And they're like, what about us? I'm like, well, you're the exception. It's like you found that fountain of youth. You found a way to get past 80. It's an average. I don't want to waste a day. And I think that's really the message out there, is to make sure that you take advantage of every single day and put in the effort and the work, but also remember that you have to have a break. And I think that's important too.
So as a mayor, you have a lot on your plate. So how are you able to have that balance?
I'll share this. It's about having a dynamic team. I really have an amazing team. Just in my office, I've hand-selected some wonderful people that really believe in not just me, but the city. There's really the department heads that oversee all of the departments. I count on them. I don't micromanage departments. I just couldn't do that. I'm here to guide, assist, to mentor, whatever it may be. I believe in leadership. I believe in leadership training. I try to take advantage of those for myself, my own personal growth. But I believe in anyone who's put into a supervisory position needs to know how to handle that position. And you hire dynamic people. The people that work here, they care. And that's what it's about. My daughter had asked me, we're in San Francisco, and she said, Dad, do you think you could be the mayor of San Francisco? And I didn't hesitate for a second. I said, absolutely. Because the mayor here has a dynamic team. And they face the challenges we face. I don't have problems. I have challenges. And that's really the message too, is I don't look at it as I have these problems to deal with. It's these challenges that we can get through with working together as a team, and also try to find the best way to handle a certain situation. And I've been very fortunate to surround myself with really smart people and who are passionate about Chicopee like I am. And if you don't have passion, you shouldn't be mayor. And when I lose mine, I've already vowed that I wouldn't continue to serve. So when this becomes a job and my passion fades away, I won't seek a reelection. But right now I'm very passionate and we're making progress and some great things are happening.
I could definitely tell that you're very passionate about your city. So yeah, that's definitely not fading anytime soon. But before we continue, I want to stop and share my book real quick called I Am a CEO, Realistic CEO. And the main character, Tony, he starts a lemonade stand in elementary school. Ends up turning that lemonade stand into a successful lemonade company at the end of the book. So I want to share this story with you real quick. So it's called I Am a CEO, Realistic CEO. In the sunny town of Dreamville, there lived a boy named Tony with a big, bright dream. One day, in Mrs. Parker's class, Tony announced, "When I grow up, I'm going to be a CEO, a Chief Executive Officer." Mrs. Parker smiled and said, "That's a big dream, Tony. Maybe think of something a bit more realistic."
Wow.
Tony's eyes sparkled. "But it is realistic. I have a plan," he said with confidence. "I will read lots of books and learn about business," Tony explained, holding up a book titled Lemonade Book. "And I will practice by starting a lemonade stand. It will be the best in town," said Tony, while sharing a drawing of his stand. Mrs. Parker was surprised. "That's quite a start, Tony. But being a CEO is more than lemonade." "I know," Tony nodded. "I will meet and interview successful CEOs, business owners, founders, presidents, executives, and community leaders. I will learn from them. I'll learn to make good decisions and solve problems." Tony continued, "I also learn to be kind and help others, just like a good leader." Mrs. Parker smiled. "Tony, I think you just might be a CEO one day." With a beaming smile, Tony said, "I'll do the LBW and I'll practice the 5 types of work. I will work hard, work smart, work right, network, teamwork." You'll see, Mrs. Parker. Years later, Mrs. Parker read a newspaper with a familiar face on the cover. Tony, CEO of More Than Lemonade Inc. She remembered the little boy with the big dream. "He did it," she whispered with pride. Back in Dreamville, Tony, now a CEO, smiled. Dreams do come true with the 5 types of work, along with self-belief and action. The LBW, the long, lonely, boring work. And in his office, the drawing of his lemonade stand hung on the wall. Remember, no dream is too big if you believe in yourself, are willing to work for it. Create a simple, realistic plan and follow it through to execution. Everyone has a special dream that can change the world. What's yours? And that's the book.
That's a great book.
Thank you.
I didn't read the book before this interview because it sounds like my life. And I really do believe that. I think that one of the parts of that book did mention the problem solving. I think that's the only word I change in your book to the challenges I face, because I'm relieved that there's no real problem that we can't overcome. And I look at it more as these challenges that we're faced with on a daily basis here. And it's a great book. And I think that'll inspire many kids. So I hope that gets into every school.
Thank you. I would love to get to more schools in Chicopee. Last year, we actually were able to go into Berry Elementary last year. And
I know it's your book, but if you would like me to, I'd read that book. when I go and talk to the younger students, I would definitely bring that book. I do often go.
That'd be awesome.
If you want me to,
Yeah,
I'll do that.
that'd be cool.
All right.
Thank you.
I'd love to.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
So in the book, I'm a CEO, realistic CEO, Tony, he talks about the 5 types of work. And you were talking about the 5 types of work the whole time, but we're going to break it down a little bit more. So the first type of work is working hard. You talked about working hard. So can you explain that to us and like really what it means to you?
Look, my mindset going through high school, and I'll say, I think it really kicked in middle school, but high school through college is I couldn't go to sleep unless I finished my work. I was prepared for a test. That's just in my own mindset that I created, that I want to go to college. I do want those types of dreams. Like you had mentioned to me before this interview about what kind of car. I wanted to have this really nice car. And I didn't want to hear my kids or my family arguing about money and finances like I heard my parents doing. So I think that really motivated me, that I wanted a better life for myself and for my family. And I think that we all do. Every single parent that I've ever talked to always just wants, hey, I want to set up my kids so they can have a better life than what I had. And I think that's really what it motivated me. I saw that my parents really struggled every day trying to just find a way to pay the mortgage. And I think that really builds character. I appreciate everything I have, but you have to put the work to every night. I wouldn't go to bed until my homework was done. I wouldn't go to bed till I felt prepared enough, because you know what? If I tried to, I'd just lay there awake anyway. So I might as well continue studying. And that happened many nights, in making sure that I was prepared and ready to take an exam in the morning. I tell every single kid, and I'll try not to say a bad word on your podcast, but don't hand in shit. That's really the message. When you're putting your name on a document, a piece of paper, an assignment, whatever it may be, make it your best work, because it's yours. You own that forever. When I hand in a test, it better be my best work. Don't hand in garbage. And I really think that if you do that, you will be successful in school. If you put your best self forward for everything you do, you're going to accomplish great things. And that's what it's about. It is about putting in the work. Life is hard. That's from Tom Brady. And I live by that too. You have to put the work in. That was the first one.
Yeah, that was awesome. So the next type of work is working smart. So can you tell us what that means to you?
Oh, always. I think that's really a message that I have for every employee here. If you have an idea, innovative technology, something to make your job more efficient, make this city more efficient, to make us a better city, I want to know about it. I tell every kid I talk to about it. I say, please, if you have an idea to make Chicopee a better city, I want to know. And that's what it's about. It's about using the tools that are out there and available to continue the progress that we're trying to accomplish. We use better sanitation trucks. We bought more modern technology in the PD using AI. This community is focused on cutting edge technology to keep you safe. We're really, I think, setting an example for not just Western Mass, but Massachusetts, New England, the whole country, with using this technology and the advancements made in public safety right here in Chicopee. And I think that's what it's about, trying to find these creative ways to provide a service, to enhance what you already do and make it better. So I think that's one way of looking at it.
So the next type of work is working right. So what does working right mean to you?
Working right is something that I think I take really to heart. I used to say to everybody that I try to do what's right, and I don't say it anymore, because what you think is right and what they think is right might be different than what I think is right. And now it's about what's in the best interest of the people who live here. So that's what I really focus on, trying to do what's in our best interest for the greater good of the community. And sometimes that's not an easy thing to figure out. And sometimes that's why there are those checks and balances between having a mayor and a city council. I provide these wonderful ideas and these financial orders, and they have to decide on whether or not to support them. But always living within your means, I think, is really important to mention too. It's like you have to be able to afford what you do. And I think that's something that we take a lot of pride in here, having a great financial team that's helping me out when we make those financial decisions moving forward with what we're trying to accomplish at a pace that Chicopee can. Because look, we're a hardworking blue collar community that we're not wealthy. I don't want to raise taxes to the point where people can't afford to live here. So the goal is to try to keep the city affordable, but also continue progress at a pace that we can afford. So it has to be gradual, continual new growth coming in that's offsetting those raises and increases, that cost of living that people expect in their check. And it's been a really tough balance. And that's something I'm really focused on.
So the next type of work is networking. So what does networking mean to you?
So important. I've built relationships with not just the mayors here in Western Mass, but the whole Commonwealth. I make sure that I go to the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I try to go every year, and always engaged in trying to find out what my peers are doing. Because I'll tell you, I believe a lot of the accomplishments in every community happen at that level, at the mayor's level. And having those relationships with my colleagues and peers is so important, because you find out what other communities are doing. And you find out U.S. Conference of Mayors, for example, hearing about a community that's doing something that maybe we already did, and also how we can help if that's possible, or a community that's doing something like, wow, that's exactly what we were thinking we wanted to do. And getting those ideas. Why reinvent wheels when the wheels are already rolling? We love sharing those ideas and concepts with each other. And that's something we take a lot of pride in. Is I'm all about, if we're doing something great, I'll share it with the mayors of Western Mass or Massachusetts, New England, or the entire country. And I think that if we all work together, it's about building these great communities. I think the former governor said it best once, because we would meet monthly. We still do. I try to make most of those meetings. But at one of his last meetings, he's, your state, and I think of Chicopee as the same way. We have 5 boroughs here, I'll call them, or 5 villages. You're only as good as the 351 cities and towns that make up the state of Massachusetts. So the culmination of all of them together really determine the success of the whole state. So I look at it from that individual perspective here of the 5 villages, or even taken to even a little bit more on a micro scale of the individual people who live here or the departments that are serving them. That success really determines mine and our cities as a whole. And look, I'm a very humble person. I don't do this alone. Like I had mentioned earlier in this podcast, I have a dynamic team of people that are committed, and they love and they're passionate about what they do. And if you feel that way, and I've often said it, if you don't, this probably isn't the right fit for you. I had a department head that was telling people 3 more days till Friday, 2 more days till Friday. To me, I'm walking by, and that's not the message that I want to tell people. We're not trying to get to Friday. Like, we're not fighting Rocky. Oh, I just need to get to the end of this round. No. If you feel that way, this probably isn't the best fit for you. That person doesn't work here anymore. That's not what it's about. It's not about just trying to get in on Monday and struggle through and get to Friday. It's about coming to work on Monday and making a difference on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. I say 2 more days till Monday. You like that? 2 more days till Monday. You can use that one. Can't wait to get back to work.
And then the final type of work is teamwork. So can you tell us what teamwork means to you? Hinted and talked about
teamwork is so important. I've been saying it through the whole podcast here with you, is that it's about putting a dynamic team together. We all work together for the greater good of this community. And I just am so proud of the team that we have. And it's about adding new members to the team. There's job opportunities right now. So anyone who's watching this, if you see this podcast, we're hiring, and you can become a part of a family. You don't just work here. And I look at these opportunities, an entry-level job, you can grow right up the success ladder. And I think the message that many people don't get to is when you work for the city of Chicopee and you put your time in, you get a pension. Social Security may not be here. And that's something scary to many people. If you're relying on that for your retirement, you might be in trouble. But when you work for a municipality like Chicopee, you become part of a family, and you have that opportunity to grow. A patrolman has the opportunity in Chicopee to be chief. A firefighter has that opportunity too. We're a civil service community. You start working in DPW in the Park and Rec department, you can work your way up through supervisor, and maybe even someday have I would say you could be the superintendent of DPW, but you need an engineering degree for that one. But there's an opportunity to grow to supervisor. And I think that's what it's about, having those opportunities to grow. No one wants to go into a job and just be in a dead end place and hope to get to Friday. That's not what it's about here. It's about hopefully taking pride in your work, providing those services that people expect every single day. And it's a team effort. So I believe in teamwork.
So I want to go back, because you talked about how your daughter asked you if you can be the mayor of San Francisco, and you said yes. And you said yes because they have a great team. So how did you know, like, with confidence you could say, yes, I could be the mayor of San Francisco?
Because I think of it as pretty much anywhere USA. You take the mayor, myself, and my dynamic team, or their dynamic team. I think I could step in and be mayor in any municipality in the entire country because I know that they've probably already built one, or if not, I would. It's about putting that team together to get results. And if you don't have that team, you're not going to get any. And it's about making progress, and the success of the community depends on you. And that's a really important thing that you have to take on, that leadership responsibility. It's about, I have to be responsible for the progress we're making and what direction do we want to head in. You have to think of that as well. I put a lot of faith into our city planner. He's always looking at, and I'll say other departments as well. We look at more from a holistic standpoint or a comprehensive standpoint of not just the impact here, but on the entire city. Traffic flow downtown is something now that we received a grant for. And we're going to look at better ways to slow people down, make it safer, two-way traffic flow instead of one-way. Now you can drive right out. I want you to stay. Downtown Chicopee has this small town feel. It'll never be a metropolis because of the natural contours and the rivers, the things that really make it feel like a small town. Like I'll share this, what I say to everyone. The city of Chicopee is this massive, wonderful, connected group of people that believe in coming together. They've always supported each other. If there's a need, a cause, or a reason, this community does not let you down and never has. But I will say that we're the biggest small town, a city of 55,000 people. That's what it feels like. A small town feel with a city of 55,000 people, which is an incredible thing. And it feels like when I go somewhere, I feel like I know people. And often I've taken this from someone who spoke at a parade committee event and had said that they felt at home. Like, what do you feel today? I feel at home. When I walk into the room, I'm a member of many of these nonprofits, like the Moose Club, the Tigers Club, the Elks Club, the Knights of Columbus. I know I missed one. The Rotarians of Chicopee, these groups, and it feels like home, if that makes sense. Walking into the room with these people that I know and trust is just a wonderful feeling. And it's a sense of community. And that's what it's all about. I want people to engage and know their neighbors. I think that's something growing up. Like, my parents were not very social. I only knew my immediate neighbors. And then as I got a little older and said, I'm getting involved in this community, I made sure we knew everybody on the street. And I think that's what it's about. When you build these neighborhoods in this group, one of my favorite things to do is to get involved in the schools and talk with these kids and get their feedback. Having neighborhood meetings. Some people don't like it. I like them. I go in there hearing and getting a pulse. I meet at the senior center once a month, and I go in and have coffee with the mayor. And I hear their concerns about the community. And I share the progress of things that are going on. I love doing podcasts. I'd love to do more of them. I think it's about interviews with the media, building relationships with them, because how do you get the message out to everybody? It's through those outlets that are giving that message. I can't fly banners on the back of airplanes. We have built relationships with the news channels and the newspapers because that's where people get their information from, the internet. Our presence is really good, and we're working on that. I have a great team, so I'm very blessed.
That's amazing. So I just have a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
Another thing in the book, Realistic CEO book, Tony, he talks about the LBW, the long, lonely, boring work. So can you tell us about the LBW inside of your career?
The LBW is real. I think that some really tough decisions have to be made. I'm going to go back to even high school and college, putting in the work, that long, boring work, writing a paper, making sure that you're successful, studying for hours, putting in the work. No one's with you. You may study with groups and friends, but at the end of the day, I'd mentioned, like, handing in my own paper has to be my best work. It has my name on it. So you put the work in. Having those decisions when crazy things like COVID happened. This mayor got elected in 2019. I got sworn in January of 2020, 3 months in. Next thing you know, we're shutting down the city of Chicopee. It's surreal, going, thanks a lot, former mayor. Richard Koss had left me, and like, now I'm here 3 months in, and we're having an international pandemic, an epidemic, and it was scary. It had never happened before except 100 years prior, 1918, with are you familiar with the Spanish flu?
Yep.
So having no experience with what we were dealing with, I spent many days and nights working. Most people were home. I don't know what you did during COVID, but you were probably at home And you were told to social distance, wash your hands, and we were doing contact tracing, all of these things. Don't stay home unless you're getting essentials. And if you're sick and all these things, we were working on how are we going to keep our community safe? How do we save lives? And we spent hours and hours here. I didn't stay home and work out of my living room. I was here every single day and night and worried about our older adults and that population. And it was scary and surreal. Like, how do I make sure that our death rate isn't setting a record in the country as this pandemic slides through our region? And it was surreal. But I would say that we spend, myself and just more about me, many nights putting in that long, boring work. And I think that doesn't end. And as I want to continue to grow as a person, those nights are still long. I don't think they're that boring, but you might.
Almost literally everybody that have on the podcast, they always say that it's not, the LBW isn't really boring to them. Like,
that's what
yeah.
But that last statement, it's not that boring for me.
Yeah.
When you're motivated to do it and you're passionate about it, it's not boring. And that's what I think really motivates you to do it. If you're making a difference and putting in that work, you set a goal. It's not boring. It's more of enthusiasm and building towards that success, whatever it may be. If it is a lemonade stand, we've had many this summer. We had a couple lemonade stands that we made sure that they were supported. The goal was to go buy some lemonade and make sure you support our small business community, even those entrepreneurs. Like, the building next door is going to be that hub of entrepreneurial opportunity, which is amazing. Someone like Michael, can come in with an idea, a concept, and learn how to build a model that will make you successful and make you your CEO of your own company.
That's awesome.
This is the land of opportunity, and we're trying to promote it. I think if you give people those tools, they will become successful. And sometimes they're not able to teach them in school. And I think that having a hub, that's what this building's called next door, that can promote that is something really special that we're about to, when substantially completed, that will be the hub of bringing the community down to Chicopee Center, the hub of the entrepreneur who's interested in a wonderful idea to hopefully build a small business that may even occupy a storefront. The goal is to incubate those and have them grow. And with this super flexible space, whatever your idea might be, if you're selling lemonade and you're passionate about it, you have to get up and make that lemonade. Someone has to put in that long, boring work. And it's not boring if you know that it's something you love to do. And I think that's the difference between motivating someone to be successful. I think it's really important to say that one of the real messages I had for my kids is don't be part of the problem, be part of the solution. And I think that's really a key thing to the success of any community or for any family. Don't be a burden on the community. Add to it. Find something that you love that will hopefully pay your bills, that you can give to this community and make a mark on it. And hopefully that's the goal. I'm hopeful that we're doing it now, but change the world in a way that just makes it a better place. And I'm hopeful that my kids are able to accomplish that as well. So don't be part of the problem, be part of the solution. You can have that one too. What's your next one?
I just have a couple more questions.
Yeah, sure.
What has been like the biggest challenges that you had to face as a mayor?
Wow. There's been COVID was a astronomical challenge. Getting this community through that was a really difficult one. I think that the Black Lives Matter movement was something that I had to really understand what that was. And I thought that was a real challenge for me because they were expecting me to say something. And my daughter said, "Dad, not saying something." She enlightened me and said, saying something is a message too. So making sure that I had the right message and understanding what this movement really was about and why people were coming to Chicopee and were demanding people to do things in the police department. And that was a real challenge. But I think we were recognized that what that movement really meant. And personally, I grew as a person and feel much more comfortable talking about it, even on your podcast, because I felt like I grew as a person. And I think that real challenges that we faced, it's about keeping Chicopee affordable. It's that balance between you want to raise because the cost of living's gone up and inflation and shrinkflation. You're buying a bag of Doritos and it's not the bag it used to be because they shrunk it on you and they give you less and everything costs more now, but your paycheck hasn't gone up enough to, and I'll say health insurance has been a huge budget buster. It really put a burden on our community, but making sure that we're able to hopefully provide a living wage and also have that person be able to have that work-life balance too, and not just working their job. I meet so many people that tell me they have 2 jobs. I have 2, 3 jobs and I don't even get to sleep because I have to pay my bills and I want my kids to be successful, whatever it may be. I think that's a real challenge, is keeping this city affordable, but continuing progress. As you hear it in the background right now, that's called progress. And I think those are probably a couple of the 2 really difficult things to deal with. Third is keeping this community safe. I'm so really thankful for the leaders I have, the police chief, fire chief, emergency management team, of what they do. I want people to feel safe, and when they're at their worst, someone at their best shows up at the door. That's what it's about. And making sure someone shows up. We take a lot of pride in that. And I think that's something that's been really important for me as a challenge, to make sure that when you call, someone shows up, a professional who's there to help you through this really difficult, immediate circumstance that's on your plate that you're dealing with. And I think that's been a challenge, but we've been able to accomplish that as well. There's probably a lot of things I'm missing, but we're challenged every single day. I've been wowed more times in 6 years than I can even tell you about certain things that have happened here. And you go, wow, how did that happen? But I have a great team. We have our messaging, we get it out, and we're always trying to make sure we handle those challenges. Like I had told you, in your book, you mentioned those problems, but I don't have any. I have the challenges that we face every day, and there's nothing we can't get through together as a community, as a department, or even as an individual. We're here to help and guide people through those challenges they face in their life.
What has been the biggest lesson that you've learned so far as the mayor?
I think that some of the really difficult things to deal with are people. And I think I've learned that listening is really important as I've grown as a person. I listen to people when they come in. I have an open door policy. My team might not like that sometimes, but I'm here to listen and try to help any way we can. We go above and beyond. It's not just about the municipality helping you with an issue you have, a pothole on your street or whatever it may be. It's about helping that person who's really dealing with something difficult enough that they've called. When you call my office, you have a reason. You called and you're not bothering me, and they're shocked that I take the phone. Is that every person really matters, that I really want to make sure we're able to help them on an individual basis, because they've reached, when they call my office, it's sometimes a last resort. I don't know where else to go, so I'm calling for your help, or they're angry. And I think that building those skills of de-escalating situations with people who are very upset because they got a big water bill or whatever reason they're calling, they're angry, is a skill set that I've learned, that I've developed over the years, is how to help people. First, they need to calm down so we can have a real conversation. But I think lessons learned is that people, egos, relationships with people matter. And I'm not in this alone. So the lesson I've learned is that I can't accomplish anything by myself. It's a team effort, and that I respect people and their opinions, no matter who they are. And I think some people don't feel that way. So I think it's about self-esteem, that I want those kids to hear that from me or from anyone, hopefully in their life, who is a leader in their community or in their household or wherever it may be, that you matter. And I think that's really an important message. So I think that's a lesson that I've learned over my lifetime, is that I matter and people actually want to hear what I have to say. And I've been very blessed to have this wonderful brain that God had given me, that I can hopefully share to make my impact on the world, whether it be this small period of time that I get to be mayor. Because I don't know what I'm going to be doing I know the next 2 years I'm committed to the city of Chicopee, and it could be 10 more. I don't know if it's going to be 20, but I do believe that we each have a path, and it's from above, and I'm trying to follow mine and be my best me on the way. So I'm focused on mind, body, spirit. And I think that's been a challenge too. I've learned that you have to take care of your body because you only get one. And I think people don't do that. You know, a message I share with many is I don't eat super processed food anymore. I've gotten away from that stuff because I think it's so unhealthy. And it's really, when you hear it from statistically that our country is the most unhealthy in the world, that's scary. And why health insurance costs so much is because we're not healthy. That's scarier. So if we can have healthier habits about eating, try to lead by example. And that's a mission of mine, is to be my best me. And we're all tempted with junk food and other things, the big E's here. Like, I'm the only person, I think, in Western Mass, if not New England, who went to the Big E and didn't have junk food. It's a challenge. I've been a couple times and I didn't eat anything. Like, what'd you eat? I said raspberries. And they went, what? Something someone can pick, I'll eat it. Something that gets grown, I'll eat. I say this corny thing and I'll share it. If someone can shoot it, catch it, or pick it, I'll eat it. And if it has more than 3 ingredients, then I probably won't unless I made it, because there's so many chemicals in our food and I don't think they're good for you. But I'm off on a tangent, but that's something that I've learned, is you have to take care of yourself mentally. You have to I take a break, and I've learned that I need to, for my own sanity, take a break from work. Take a minute to observe something beautiful in the world. And we're surrounded by so many things in Western Mass I didn't even know were here. I'm 55 years old, didn't know they were here. And it's wonderful to see them. Take that break, focused on your mind, continue to grow your mind. These are lessons that I've learned. Take care of your body, and your connection, your spiritual connection is really important, and mine is. I take that to heart too. So those 3 things, I think, the core of a great life, if you can focus on mind, body, spirit, that's the lesson I've learned, and I'm really focused on it.
That's awesome. And then for you, like, we talked about the biggest challenges you faced as a mayor, but what has been like your favorite experiences that you've had as a mayor?
Wow, I've had some great experiences, and I'd mentioned this roller coaster of being mayor and how humbled and honored that the people have chosen me to do it. But I've had opportunities to visit places that I would have never visited, going to DC and stepping into the French embassy, going into the Spanish embassy for dinner. Those are a couple. I went to Army War College, the National Security Seminar. I was invited by the base commander.
Wow.
And got to see some of the U.S. Army's wonderful technology that they're using. Opportunity to be in a cohort with some of the brightest minds in our military was this recent thing and tour Gettysburg was something I just did this summer. And it was all about leadership and learning about what the imminent threats are to our country. And that was an amazing experience. But ultimately, I get to do all of these I get to go to birthday parties for centurions and anniversary parties for 60 couples who've been together for 60 years. These are the wonderful things I get to do. I get to hand out the sword at the sword game when Chicopee High plays Chicopee Comp on Thanksgiving morning. Like, they say, oh, when you're mayor, you have all this stuff that you have to do. And I go, no, I get to do it. I get to do all these wonderful things that I wouldn't be doing if I wasn't mayor. I get to talk to you on a podcast. I get to talk to some kids at the National Honor Society. I get to give a speech and try to, hopefully during graduation at Chicopee High, Chicopee Com, Chicopee Academy, and Elms College, and try to share a message with someone, and maybe they'll hear me. Maybe they'll hear one line of what I say. Maybe they'll listen to one part of your podcast and it'll change someone's life. And that's what it's about.
That's awesome. I just have one last question for you. And it's, what's one fun fact about yourself that nobody really knows?
A fun fact? That's a tough question that no one knows.
All right. How about just a fun fact? Just a fun fact.
A lot of fun facts. Let's see. I mow my own lawn. I don't think people realize. People don't think that I would do that type of thing. But I mow my lawn. I love apples. I love picking them and eating them. That's a recent new thing. I didn't know how wonderful apple orchards are, and it's apple season right now. I didn't really like them, but I do now. I love to play golf. I realized I don't suck at it. As a less than fortunate kid growing up, that's not something you play. Golf is not, but it's a wonderful passive recreational experience that I love to do. And I love family. It's about building family. And it's not just the people who are biologically your family. It's that family, this community. Fun facts. I go to church. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, I just want to thank you again for coming
Thank
on.
you.
So appreciate you. And I want to thank every single one of you for all this support that you've shown me in this past year, my journey of becoming the realistic CEO, in the ways that you can support even more. Like my big goal for the next 5 years is to be able to distribute 500,000 copies of my book, I Am a CEO, Realistic CEO. So ways that you can support is by going onto my website, www.realisticceo.com, and ordering your copy of the Realistic CEO book, as well as a Realistic CEO podcast magazine and my latest book, Unrealistic. And another way you can support even more is by going onto the website and also donating, as well as a donation button where you can donate as much books as you want. So that will help me a lot as well. And see you in the next episode. Peace.